Hello, my name's Adam Phillips, and I'm going to just go over an introduction to Animate 2, which is ToonBoom's soon-to-be released software. If you're a Flash user and you're coming from straight in from Flash to ToonBoom, you probably are like many other people and are finding it really difficult to find any to find it easy to use or intuitive, or and you can't find any tutorials or help online. The Kickstart videos are good for a really basic primer, but they're quite inconsistent in what they cover. So that, they might have a one character for one exercise and a completely different character for a later exercise. So I'm not too familiar at the moment with the IK and cutout puppet style of animation in ToonBoom, because I'm mostly a frame-by-frame animator who draws everything. So most of my work is backgrounds and characters drawn into the program on separate layers with the drawing tools. Anyway, so I'm going to start from the very beginning on how to open what you see when you first open Animate 2. So those people who know the software already a little bit, you might want to skip the first couple, as they're just going to be a bit of a primer. So I'm going to close this, don't save. Now when you open Animate 2, you'll see this following screen, which allows you to choose a directory. I'm just going to, for all the tests that I do in Animate, I have a directory just called ap2 test, and I'm going to call the project name Exploring. And underneath that, you've got some presets for dimensions and frame rate and aspect ratio. I usually work at HDTV because at any time during your project you can scale up or down without any problem at all. It's like instantly you can scale a project down to postage stamp size and then scale it up to cinema size. So it doesn't really matter what you choose to start off with, but the aspect ratio is something you want to probably keep consistent. So I have a custom preset called half HD. You don't have to worry about this, but I'm just going to choose that for now, and it'll open up. Right, and this is basically ToonBoom Animate when it first opens up. You'll get a slightly different layout because this is a kind of customized layout, but the workspace manager up here, you can choose different presets. I've chosen the hand-drawn preset, and then I've just customized it a little. First thing to look at is all the different panels, and if you're coming from Flash, you'll be familiar with panels and how they operate. You can close certain things. I'll just close the library by clicking the library tab and then clicking the X there. So I've got tool properties here and the color panel, and there's little context menus on each panel. Not on this one, but your timeline is down the bottom. That's a panel like the others. You can open up other panels and put it you can group sets of panels. So if the tool properties here, I want to put something with it, I can choose whichever. Maybe I want to put I'll put the library back. I'll just choose it from that little arrow menu. So like that, and I can go back and forth, and you can also move these. So if I want to move the library out and undock it, it's its own separate window there, like that, and I can just drag the tab back onto wherever I want to put it, drag it into a group with others. Anyway, I'll close that, and additionally you've got little tiny arrows here to close, minimize things, minimize the timeline. So yes, this is just a basic introduction to the interface. So if you're used to graphics programs or animation programs, you'll probably already be familiar with stuff like this. I'm looking now at the camera view, and this is where most of your work will be done. And to isolate a particular drawing, you can switch over to drawing view, which is just like if you're a traditional animator coming from pen and paper and an animation disc, you will you might favor this drawing view a little bit more, but for now we'll just start off with the camera view, because that's where you can look at your project as a whole. All the different layers in the timeline will come together in this view. So in the next video, we'll get on and talk about the timeline, how to use layers and frames and things like that. See you in a minute.